Thanks for tuning in. This is Thomper Be Thompin', and in this video I'm going to show you all about my 2023 Toyota Tundra. I'm going to tell you my likes, my dislikes, talk about some of the odd, quirky features, and just show you more about the truck in general. So I did a lot of research going into buying this vehicle, and I just want to set some expectations. I would totally buy it again, so any of the gripes or complaints that you hear me talking about, you know, I can live with them. I understand that like some trucks do some things better. No truck is perfect, that's for sure. And quite honestly, there's a lot of great options out there. I just went with the Tundra. I'm a little bit of a Toyota fanboy, to be honest, but there's a lot of cool trucks. This is just some of my observations for this one. Last thing I want to mention in the intro right here is that basically I got this truck because I got this trailer. Now, I do a lot of activities like hiking, biking, and ATV riding and things like that. And I just upgraded from a regular utility trailer to this bigger cargo trailer, which I turned into a toy hauler. I got a video out on that. But I wanted something that would pull it a little bit better. I am coming from a 5th gen 4Runner. Those vehicles are awesome, legendary. I love them. I will always recommend them. They are great for towing 2,000 to 3,000 pounds, no problem whatsoever. And probably going to be one of the most reliable vehicles that you can buy brand new right now. But I just wanted something with a little bit more power, so I had to step up to the Tundra. I also really like the fact that it's got a bed. There's a trade-off there with a fully enclosed cargo area on the 4Runner that was really nice, great for dogs, great for hauling gear that you want out of the elements, but having that open bed has been really nice so far. All right, my first like on the list is going to be these mirrors. In this limited trim, they are body colored and they do have a blinker on the outside and a camera up underneath. And they've got blind spot monitoring built in. The driver's side mirror does have like an auto tinting film on it to keep blinding headlights from behind you, from blinding you. But I was very hesitant on the mirrors because I knew that the tow mirrors were an option. But I didn't want tow mirrors if I didn't have to get them. So for your information, I'm running a 7-foot wide cargo trailer, and these mirrors are just adequate for it. So I can see down both sides, no problem. On the driver's side, I can see down a little bit further and like almost kind of see behind the trailer a little bit. But on the passenger side, I can still see down the side of it almost. It's great for merging. I do not need a wider trailer, or sorry, a wider mirror. Now, if you were running an 8-foot wide box trailer, that's where you may want to consider stepping up to the tow mirrors, something like that. My other major like with this vehicle is going to be the powertrain. Now, I'm not going to get into like reliability and anything like that. This is a newer engine for Toyota, this 3.4 twin turbo V6. It's mated to a 10-speed automatic transmission, you know, traditional torque converted. And I will say that so far, I've had the vehicle about a month, a little bit over 1,500 miles. I've towed with it, and I've done highway, you know, touring with it, with dirt bikes in the back and things like that. And the powertrain just works flawlessly. The power is pretty exceptional. And I like the fact that the torque comes on pretty low. I think you get peak torque, 479 pound-feet at 2,400 RPM. And then, you know, the power just keeps growing from there. I will say, though, I did not get the hybrid. Obviously, you can get the hybrid version and increase the horsepower and the torque by quite a bit. But you also increase the weight and the price of the vehicle, too. So the powertrain has been smooth as butter for me. Smooth shifts. You know, really smooth revs, and it's not too noisy, which I kind of like. My first major dislike of this vehicle, and possibly the most egregious one, is that this Toyota comes with some subscription services. So you get some of them free straight off the bat as a part of a trial period, like remote start. You click the lock button on your key fob 3 times, hold it down, and the remote start feature works. That's great. A lot of people like that. There's also some like app connectivity things that are part of a trial period, I believe, and some other subscription services like roadside assistance through Toyota, features like that. But basically, they give you a trial period, and then once that wears off, you lose those features, and you got to pay for them through a monthly subscription. Toyota's not the only one doing this. I hate it. One of the things I love about Toyotas, and I'm sure some other cars do this too, is that all the windows are auto down, auto up with one touch. So you just one touch, depressed all the way to get it down. one touch to get it back up. Of course, you can modulate it by pressing it halfway to do that, but that works for all 4 windows, not the 5th window though. The 5th window, you do have to hold the button, but it goes up and down pretty quickly. That's a really cool feature to have. Additionally, what Toyota did with this arrow back here on the rear light is they reshaped the arrow to make it so that the airflow does not come slamming into the cab when the window's down and you're cruising at highway speed. So you can, you know, go 70 miles an hour with this window down and you're perfectly comfortable. Another feature I like about Toyotas in general, and the Tundra does it as well, is the fact that you can use your key fob to roll down all the windows, except the rear. I don't know, we'll find out. But this is something I had to use the Carista device for, so I'll talk more about that in a little bit, but basically it's this little device that you plug into your OBD2 sensor, you download the app, and then you can adjust a lot of different things. You can turn off the fake engine noise, you can mess with the turn signal indicator, like the auto setting for it, you can mess with all the chimes and things like that, but you can also do this. 1, 2, 3. 3 clicks and a hold on the unlock button, and then all 4 windows come down. So that's great for a hot sunny day. When you're walking up to your car, you can kind of let it air out. So this is my second biggest dislike about this truck. When you drop the tailgate, which is great, you can drop it with this little button, you can drop it on the remote key fob, or you can just drop it with the button on the tailgate. All those features work wonderfully. There's no step to get inside of this thing. Now, I'm pretty young, I'm pretty tall, I'm still fairly agile. So it's no problem for me for the most part, but there's no easy access step. Right here, when the tailgate's down, there's no step on the corner. There used to be one on the previous gen. There's obviously no cutout step like there are on the GM products. Love that feature. I wish all manufacturers would copy that. There's also no like special tailgate step like on the Ford products and things like that. I don't think Ram has a built-in step, but they might. Toyota does sell an accessory step. You can get a manual one, which I've ordered 4 weeks ago, still waiting for it to come in because they're on back order. And then some of the really high trim models do come with a power step. So that's a solution to the problem, but you've got to go buy it. There's otherwise no easy way to step up into this thing. Another like that I have is that this engine just runs on straight 87 octane gas. So there is no option, at least in the manual, to run 89 or 91 or 93 to get additional horsepower or torque out of it. The manual only says to run 87, so I assume you get that full horsepower and torque off 87. Another thing that I like is the front seat comfort and all the ergonomics that go along with it, especially in the driver's seat. I've done road trips already with this thing in the passenger seat and the driver's seat, you know, at least like 3 hours one way, and it's been perfectly comfortable for me. So some reviews out there are going to complain about the seat comfort. I'm 6 foot tall, 190, pretty average build, and I've been perfectly comfortable in this thing. So this one's pretty obvious. Everybody knows about this. Every review out there complains about this. There's no tow hooks on this vehicle. To me, that is pretty bad. I heard in one of the videos that the engineer said this was like for fuel efficiency and for safety, allegedly. Maybe there were some other reasons. But in my opinion, you've got to engineer a tow hook or two on the front of these trucks. Now, I'm not taking this thing off-roading, but those tow hooks are incredibly useful for so many different things. You got to tug a car out of the snowbank and say your only access point is from the front. Easy, hook up a snatch rope and just do it real quick. Or if you want to, I take my truck to my property all the time. If you want to pull a tree out of the woods, just pull right up to it and yank it out with the front. Seems like a feature they should have built in. So, sorry for the extra noise around here. This is an active park and, you know, there's crews running around doing stuff, but one of the features that I don't like is that it doesn't come with any skid plates, at least the version I have. If you opt for a TRD off-road version, of course, you're going to get plenty of skid plate protection underneath. But I got the limited because I specifically wanted that air suspension, which is also available on like an SR5. But when you get the rear air suspension, you cannot get the TRD off-road package. So something to consider if you're looking at one of those two options. This is a pretty cool feature. The front seat will kind of move back for you when the engine turns off or when the auxiliary system turns off, and then it will automatically go forward too. So I'll just turn to auxiliary mode, and it goes back to my preset seating position. When I turn the vehicle engine off or just turn the auxiliary mode off, it resorts backwards a little bit to allow you for just better ingress egress. You can adjust how far it goes back and forward. There's a full position, there's a partial position, and then there's none at all. So you can turn that feature completely off if you don't want it. But that just makes for getting in and out a lot easier. Another feature I like is the Android Auto and Apple CarPlay. I use Android Auto and it connects seamlessly for me every time when I get into the vehicle. I haven't had any issues with that. Just starts playing your music straight away, starts navigating for you straight away. I have my phone in airplane mode right now, so I don't have that system up, but there's plenty of videos on that exist out there. One thing I will say about the Qi wireless charging is that I had to get a new phone case for it. The regular phone case that I had did not work with this Qi wireless setup, but once I got the one with the very thin backside to it, it works no problem. It connects and it starts charging straight away, and it will indicate to you if the system's too warm or anything like that. Another feature I really like, and one that I specifically chose when I was buying my vehicle, was the automatic rear load leveling system. So it's just the rear air suspension for these units. So it has a lot of cool features built in that other trucks have. It only has the air suspension on the rear, and what's cool is that you can, from the center console area, or there from the cluster, I'll show you, you got toggle switches where you can automatically lower the air suspension, raise it up pretty high, or just set it to the neutral normal position. And what's also nice is that if you do lower the air suspension all the way down to make something easier to load, if you drive off, once you get up to speed, it'll automatically go back to the normal setting. Same thing for when you've got it in high. If you have the rear end of the truck all the way up high, and then you take off driving, I don't know the exact mile per hour, but let's just say like 18 miles per hour or something like that, the system will drop back down to level. So there's a couple toggle switches in here that you can use. Here's your system to lower it and raise it and go back to normal. And they also have a manual option which allows you to lower it by a little bit manually. And I very specifically wanted the rear air suspension for towing heavier trailers. So when you've got a large load in the bed or a trailer with a fair amount of tongue weight, your vehicle's gonna sag naturally. And no, the system does not technically replace like anti-sway bars or weight distribution hitches, but it does help a lot. It's at least like a middle ground to that kind of a setup. So it will make sure that you're pulling nice and level regardless of how much weight you got back there, assuming you're still within spec. So I really do have barely any complaints about this truck. I've already hit the major ones, but one other thing that I don't like is that it uses all these toggle switches, which are great for most of the features except for selecting hot and cold temperatures. You have to either click real fast to go from high down to low, or you have to hold it down. Same thing when going from cold to hot. You either have to hold the button up or you have to sit there and click 30 times, which is okay. That's a super nitpicky complaint, but when you're in the swing seasons like we are here at the end of fall, early winter, and you get some really cold mornings and then some pretty mild warm afternoons and evenings, well, you know, you drive to work with the heat on and you got to drive home with the cold air, and it's just, you're sitting there clicking the thing every morning and afternoon. The second thing is, I wish this truck showed what gear you were in here on the instrument cluster. I think the Ford will actually show you which gear you're in, 1 through 10. I'm just kind of a nerd. I like to know all those things. There's also no transmission temperature gauge on this particular trim level. So a couple of things that I wish it had, but definitely not a deal breaker. So this next dislike is really just an issue with Toyota in general right now during this supply chain issue time period that we're in. You only get a single key fob when you purchase the vehicle brand new. So it comes with a little sticker on the side of it that says, you know, Toyota will contact you and deliver your second key fob at a later date. Well, I haven't heard anything from Toyota, nor the dealership I purchased the vehicle from. And the online forums really say it's going to be several weeks to possibly a couple months or more to get your key fob. It's not an issue for me, but I know that's an issue for some buyers, something to be aware of. So the next thing I want to talk about is the rear lighting in the bed. You can turn it completely off right here. You can have it set to where it comes on automatically when your doors are open, or you can set it to where it's on permanently, just like a lot of other trucks. But let me show you. I will say this was a part of a pretty cheap package. You've got two LEDs in the back. You've got an LED on each side of the bed. And additionally, you've got a really bright LED back here on the rear tailgate, which was just turned off because I just closed all the doors. But this system has been very, very bright. I have actually used it a couple times. You know, it's winter time, so it's getting dark pretty quick, and coming home from some dirt bike trips, it's been really nice to be able to load and unload with these bright lights, so you don't miss anything, your feet aren't slipping, you're not stepping on stuff. I really appreciate it. Two more things on the bed real quick. That lighting system, I think that is part of a package that gives you a 400 watt outlet inverter in the back there. So that's a nice feature to have, although it's not very competitive in this market. There's plenty of other trucks that have much higher wattage output, but I'm happy with the tie down situation in this truck. It does have 4 basic tie downs about halfway up in the corners, and this is the 5.5 foot bed, mind you. And it does have these cleats that are removable. So I've used these cleats already for tying down dirt bikes, and they just kind of pop in, pop out with a simple screw system, so you can place them anywhere along this track. So that's really useful. Quick and easy tie down relocation setup. And I do love the composite bed. I was actually really excited to see that they went to a composite bed. It's composite with aluminum reinforcement underneath. I'll show you that aluminum. So these might be hard to see, but these are those aluminum bars that run across, and there's several of them. And then it also has an aluminum front plate to help give it additional support and rigidity. But yeah, I'm really happy with the bed setup. Pretty traditional trailer wiring hookup with a 4-pin and a 7-pin. So another major like for me is all of the trailering features that this pickup truck comes with. Again, I'm coming from a 4Runner, which was great for towing lightweight. It had a 4-pin connector, a 7-pin connector, and a built-in hitch, which all worked really well. But on top of that basic stuff, this truck, I optioned the rear air suspension on this limited trim, but it comes with a lot of other features that are just fantastic for towing. You've got an integrated, of course, you have the integrated trailer brake controller, and then up here on the dash, there's a couple other pretty special features. The blind spot monitoring that comes with this truck is also compatible with the trailer. I forgot to mention that the mirrors auto fold. You can set them to where they stay out, stay closed all the time, or open and close with the unlock feature. Other trucks have that same feature as well. But the blind spot monitoring that's incorporated on the mirrors is the truck will auto sense your trailer. So I hooked this trailer up this morning, and it auto sensed that the trailer was hooked up. So, I get to set my gain for the trailer brakes and everything. But it also automatically detected the length of the trailer for the blind spot monitoring system. So when you're changing lanes with your trailer, it's going to consider all that additional length when you are changing lanes, and it's warning you of people in your blind spot. And the last little trailering feature is this trailer backup assist button. Apparently, you can use that button to help you back up in a straight line when you've got a trailer set up. So if you just line your trailer up, you can just back up nice and straight. I haven't tried that feature, but there's other videos out there that showcase that feature. And the truck also has 2 modes of tow haul. So you've got tow haul mode and tow haul plus mode, and those are both selected with a simple little dial and a button on your center console area. I just like that it gives you 2 options. Tow haul is used for a trailer that weighs between 0 and 5,000 pounds, and tow haul plus is used for a trailer that weighs over 5,000 pounds. I think that's a nifty little option that just helps dial in the engine braking and the grade shifting and those kinds of features. Why not have two different options so you're not, you know, using overkill for a simple little light trailer? Another tiny little itty bitty nitpicky complaint is that this vehicle does come with start-stop technology. Again, this is the gas-only engine, and I don't like the placement of the auto start-stop. Whenever I'm sitting down and looking down in here, I always have to kind of lean my head over pretty far to finally locate this button to actually press it, because you got a lot of other buttons that are all pretty close together. It's not like you can just kind of muscle memory know where that thing is. So you've got to turn it off every time you get into the truck and start it up and drive. However, it's not that big of an issue, because when you do approach a stop sign or a stop light and you depress the brake pedal, if you do so lightly enough, like a normal easy stop, it will not turn the engine off automatically. In fact, you'll get a little indicator up here that says depress pedal all the way to engage auto start stop or something like that. It says it a lot better than I just explained, but you've really got to depress the pedal pretty far to engage auto start stop, so it's easily avoided. So this isn't really a complaint, but one of the oddball features with this truck is that it does come with fake engine noise. Now, Toyota engineered this engine noise to give it that deep growl upon acceleration. Now, you do need the upgraded JBL audio system to have that feature, but it's easily defeated just by using the little Carista device, which you plug into the OBD2 sensor like I talked about earlier, go into the app, and you can turn that feature on and off. I've got it off right now, and I actually like it because you can hear the turbos whistling a little bit better, and it still sounds perfectly fine. No, it does not sound like a big growly V8. The next little oddball thing, and I suppose it's not too odd, is that you do have to operate the air suspension with the pump that's back there with the engine running. I suppose that kind of makes sense. That thing draws probably too much power to run it with the battery off or the engine off, because you likely run the risk of running that battery dead. So just something to know. The next little oddball feature, and it's sort of a complaint, sort of just an oddball observation, is that the SR5s come with a tray that's built in right here. So that's perfect for a passenger to set in a wallet or a cell phone or all the above. Well, I think when you go to the Limited and above, you just get this bulge right here. And it is nice and soft touch. It's got like a leatherette covering on top of it. But I'm not sure what it is about the Limited trims that don't allow for the tray to be available here, because it seems like that's a feature that I would want on every trim level. Another quick little observation is that this truck does not come with the rear bed stake pockets that you normally see on a lot of trucks. Now, I don't know if pickups in general are moving away from that feature, nor do I know if underneath this plastic those holes exist. But yeah, they're not available, at least on this Limited trim. There's no bed stake pocket holes. All right, I'll do my best to show you this air dam, but this Limited model does not have any of the TRD off-road packages, so I do have the active air dam. This air dam deploys all by itself and folds up all by itself. Oh man, this is gonna be tough to show. So yeah, I'm not sure if you can see it, but she's underneath there. So once you get up to speed, I think it's approximately 35 miles per hour, the air dam will automatically deploy. And then once you go below 18 miles per hour, I think, the air dam will automatically retract and come up for any slow speed maneuvering or anything like that. So it does it automatically, which is pretty smart, but if you do get like a TRD off-road package, you don't get that feature, so nothing to worry about there. So there are a lot of reviews out there that discuss some complaints that I feel aren't quite warranted, or at least need to be addressed with an alternative opinion. So I'm just going to run through those real quick. I have personally had no issues at all with my front seat durability. I get in and out of it like a normal person. I did get these aftermarket running boards off Amazon. Those help quite a bit. The truck obviously didn't come with any running boards, but some people complain of the front seat plastic cracking, basically from getting in and out of the vehicle. I suppose if you're just flopping all over the thing and sliding in and out of it with all your body weight, yeah, but if you use your legs and arms like a I haven't had any issues. I think it's a little funny. My heated steering wheel also works perfectly fine. There's been some complaints about them not providing enough heat or not providing complete heat around, but mine does full heat and a 360 all the way around the circle of the steering wheel. I haven't had any issues with that. It works perfectly fine. The interior lighting, this is an issue that I can see some people having. So the interior lighting is full LEDs and they're high quality. However, some people complain that they wish they were a little bit brighter and just flooded the interior with more light. That is something that I can see some people having a genuine issue with. If you're working out of your truck a lot at nighttime, you're gonna be using a flashlight in a few spots, especially if you're getting underneath your rear seat storage. The light's kind of blocked when your seats are up. For me, it hasn't been much of an issue. Another thing is highway speed noise issues. So I have had no issues with wind noise at highway speeds. I've had no weird like buffeting or whistling or anything like that. It's a nice quiet truck at 70, 80 miles per hour. And lastly, my fit and finish has been great on the exterior of the truck. I haven't had any fit and finish issues. Again, I've only had it about a month and maybe like 1700 miles, something like that, but I have no squeaks, no odd gaps anywhere, no rattles or creaks or nothing like that. She's tight like a tiger. So that's just kind of the list of little things that I've heard other people complain about that I haven't observed at all on this truck. It's been perfect. So in conclusion here, that's my list of likes and dislikes and some of the quirky features. Again, I would totally buy this truck again. I did a lot of research going into it. No truck's perfect. I just want to reiterate that. But yeah, thanks for watching. If you got any questions, let me know.